Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to focus on learning how to multiply binomials together. Now in the past we've talked about how to multiply a monomial into various types of polynomials. Today we're going to focus on how to multiply two binomials together. So let's go ahead and get rid of that. And the first example that we're going to look at is 5x minus 4 times the quantity 2x plus 7. Now I'll teach us a little trick on how to do this, but it'll only work for binomials. We really want to understand why what we do is going to work. Now notice these are both binomials, they are both simplified. If for example you had like 2 plus 3 times the quantity x plus 1, you'd want to simplify first and just say 5 times x plus 1. So if you can simplify, by all means simplify, but when you can't, then you're going to have to use some other methods. Now to really understand what's going on here, if this was, instead of 5x minus 4, if it was just x, what we would do is we would distribute what it is we're multiplying. We're going to do the same type of a thing here. We're going to take the 5x minus 4, but we're going to distribute that whole binomial. So 5x minus 4, that binomial times the first term. So 5x minus 4 times 2x. Then plus 5x minus 4 times the 7. And it might take a second to really catch on to that. You're taking this whole binomial and you're distributing it to each term. Now, when you're multiplying two things, it doesn't matter the order. You could say this is 2x times the quantity 5x minus 4 plus 7 times the quantity 5x minus 4. And you're going to go ahead and multiply. You get 10x squared minus 8x plus 35x minus 28. So you have 10x squared and you're going to end up with plus 27x minus 28. And this would be the simplified product of those two binomials. Now really what we're going to want to focus on, because this will be the trick that you can do them a little quicker, but understanding what I'm about to explain will be really important in the future. When we do this, notice the 5x. When we go down here, you're going to multiply 5x times 2x. You're also going to multiply 5x times 7. So you're multiplying 5x by each term in here. It's like you're distributing the 5x to each term. And then you're going to multiply negative 4 times 2x. That's where the negative 8x came from. And you're going to multiply negative 4 times 7. That's where the negative 28. So you multiply each term, or the negative 4, by each term in here. What's going to happen when you multiply even more polynomials is you're taking the first term and you multiply it by each term inside. Then you take the second term and you multiply it by each term inside. And why that works out is because you would be distributing it through to each term. Now a nice little method you can use for this to help you remember for binomials is something called foiling. And this works just for binomials, but it is something you want to be familiar with. And FOIL stands for first, outer, inner, and last. What that means is, first, you multiply the two first terms together. 5x times 2x, well that's going to be your 10x squared. Then you do the outers, 5x times 7, that gets you the 35x. Then you do the inners, that would be negative 4 and 2x, that gets you the negative 8x. And then the last is 7 and negative 4, that gets you negative 28. And then you combine, you get down here. This will help you remember for binomials. What's really important to know is you're just taking each term, taking the 5x, and you're multiplying it by each term inside. Taking the negative 4, you're multiplying it by each term inside. If there was a third term here, you would distribute that third term as well, and so on. So we're going to try a couple more examples of this, just to make sure we feel comfortable with it. So our next example, we have 2y minus 5 equals y minus 6, or sorry, multiplied by y minus 6. So it's a binomial times a binomial, can't simplify either. So I'm going to go ahead and skip that whole distributing step, because once you know what's going on, you can do it a little quicker. Take the first term, multiply it by the first term. That gives you 2y squared. Then you're taking the 2y and you're multiplying it by the -6. That gets you -12y. So now we've taken care of the 2y being distributed through. Now we need to distribute the -5. So your inners, -5 times y is -5y. -5 times -6 is +30. So you don't have to show all that distributing the binomial, because this is where you'll end up. It's just good to know that's why it's there. So then as a little simplifying, -12 minus 5 is -17y plus 30. And this would be the simplest form. Again, we want to write it in standard form. So we want to have that highest degree first. All right, our last one, and then you can try some of these on your own. Our last one is the quantity 4x minus y times the quantity 3x plus 2y. Now these are binomials. We cannot combine like terms in either one. So to find their product, you can take the 4x, multiply it by 3x. That gets you 12x squared. Then you're going to take the 4x, multiply it by 2y, and that's going to get you 8xy. Now you're on to your next term. Negative y times 3x is -3xy. And then negative y times 2y is equal to -2y squared. Can't combine anything with your 12x squared. That's taken care of. You can combine these together and get positive 5xy. And then you have -2y squared. And you're all done. One little side note to notice here, if you have, let's say you rewrote this one when you multiplied, let's say you wrote it as -3yx, that's the same thing as -3xy. You can change the order. Some people like to generally put the x's first, like they like to go alphabetical in the order of their variables, so that way it's easier to tell, because if you saw this, you might not recognize that it's a like term with this, but it is. So some people like to list their variables alphabetically when they write them, as they're listed out within the monomial. So x squared, they put the x first, put the x first. That's why I went right to putting the x first here. Alright, so there's your second one all done, or third one all done. And now you can go practice some on your own.